Right now, green card holders all over the world are scared to come back to the United States. And honestly, I completely understand why. Before I tell you everything you need to know, let me ask you something real quick. Have you subscribed to this channel yet? Because what I am about to share with you today could literally protect your green card and your right to come back home. Hit that subscribe button right now. This is that important. So here is what is happening. The Trump administration has been passing new travel bans, new immigration rules and new border policies, one after the other. And if you have a green card and you are currently outside the US, or you're planning to travel soon, you are probably asking yourself the same question. Thousands of people are asking, can DHS actually stop me from coming back? Can they block me at the airport? Can they take my green card away? I'm going to answer all of that today. I'm going to tell you exactly what the new rules say. I'm going to tell you who is really at risk and who is not. And most importantly, I'm going to tell you what you need to do right now to protect yourself. So stay with me here because every single minute of this video matters. Quick note before we go further. I'm sharing this information to help you understand what is going on. I am not your lawyer. Every situation is different. If you are worried about your specific case, please talk to a qualified immigration attorney. Now let us get into it. Let me start with the big question everyone is asking. Can DHS block green card holders from coming back to the United States? The short answer is this. Guess what? All those new travel bans, even the massive one starting January 1st, 2026, officially say green card holders are exempt. Amazing, right? Let me say that again in plain English. The written rule says green card holders are protected. The government officially wrote down that people who already have a green card, what the law calls lawful permanent residents, are not supposed to be blocked just because of the travel ban. Now I need you to understand something. Yes, the rule says you are exempt, but the situation on the ground is very different right now. And that is exactly why we need to keep talking. Here is what you need to know about the December 2025 travel ban. On December 16th of 2025, President Trump signed Presidential Proclamation 998. That is the official name. It went into effect on January 1st, 2026. This ban expanded the travel restrictions to cover nationals from 39 countries. That means people who are citizens of these countries are facing new rules when trying to enter the United States. The countries with the strictest full ban included Afghanistan, Burkina Faso, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and others. These are countries where people are completely blocked from getting new visas. Now here's the critical thing. The proclamation says, and I want to be very clear here, that people who already hold lawful permanent resident status, meaning people who already have a green card, are specifically listed as exempt from this ban. Schools and universities, like Yale and Washington University, have confirmed this publicly. So if you already have your green card, the travel ban itself is not designed to stop you at the door. But wait before you breathe a sigh of relief. I need to tell you about what is actually happening at airports and ports of entry, because this is where it gets real. I bet half of you have not hit that like button yet. Go ahead, I will wait. It helps more people in our community find this information. Okay, now let me keep going. Here's what is really going on at the border right now. CBP stands for Customs and Border Protection. These are the officers you see when you land at a US airport. They are the ones checking your passport and your green card. And here is something very important that you have to understand. CBP officers have very wide discretion. That means they have a lot of power to make decisions in the moment. They can question you. They can send you to a room for more questioning. And they can do all of this even if you have a green card. This process is called secondary inspection. Think of it like this: when you come off the plane, you go through the first line, where the officer quickly looks at your documents. That is primary inspection. But if the officer decides they want to ask you more questions, they send you to another area. That is secondary inspection. It can feel scary. It can take an hour or more. But secondary inspection alone does not mean you are losing your green card. Here is what immigration lawyers and rights groups are reporting. Right now in 2026, green card holders who have been outside the United States for 3 to 5 months are increasingly being sent straight to secondary inspection. Not just people who have been gone for years. Even people who were abroad for a few months are getting extra screening. The environment at the border is stricter than it has been in years. And if you are from one of the banned countries, you may face even more questions and more scrutiny, even if the ban technically does not apply to you. So let me explain what secondary inspection actually looks like, so you are not caught off guard. You get directed to a separate waiting area, usually before you pick up your bags. There are seats along the wall. An officer calls your name and takes you to a desk or a small room. They ask you questions about your trip. Where did you go? Why were you there? How long were you gone? Do you work in the United States? Where do you live? They may look at your phone. They may ask about your finances. Then they either let you go or they decide to take things further. The key thing to know is this: stay calm, answer honestly. But you also have rights. Do not let anyone pressure you into signing a document you do not understand. Now let me tell you about the one document you must never sign without a lawyer. It is called Form Y-407. This is the form for abandonment of lawful permanent resident status. In plain English, it is the form that says you are giving up your green card. Some people have reported being pressured by officers at the border to sign this form when they were not legally required to. If an officer gives you this form, do not sign it without speaking to an attorney first. Signing this form means you voluntarily give up your green card. You cannot come back to the United States as a permanent resident. After that, here is something even more important that I need you to hear. Only an immigration judge can officially take away your green card. Not a CBP officer at the airport, not a border patrol agent. Only a judge in immigration court. So if you are ever in a situation where an officer is telling you that your green card is being taken, you need to say clearly that you want to see an immigration judge. You have that right. Do not walk away from it. Drop a comment below and tell me your situation. Are you currently outside the US? Are you about to travel? I read every single comment and I want to help you. Tell me what country you are in and how long you have been gone. Now let me talk about the 6-month rule and the 1-year rule. These are the rules that can actually put your green card at risk, even without the new travel bans. And I want you to really understand these. Here is the 6-month rule. If you leave the United States and stay outside for more than 6 months, but less than 1 year, CBP can start asking questions about whether you still intend to live in the US. Your green card is not automatically gone at 6 months, but it gives officers a reason to look more closely. They may ask you to prove that you still have real ties to the United States. Now here's the 1-year rule. If you stay outside the United States for 1 full year or more, without getting a special travel document first, the government can say you have abandoned your permanent residency. This is the biggest risk for green card holders who spend long periods outside the country. Let me give you a real example. Say Maria has a green card. Her mother got very sick back home. She has been outside the US for 14 months. She comes back to the airport. The officer at the border can say that Maria abandoned her permanent residence because she was gone more than 1 year. She would then have to fight her case in front of an immigration judge. Now here is the good news part of this. You can protect yourself from this situation, and you need to hear this. If you are planning to be outside the US for a long time, before you leave the United States, if you know you will be gone for more than 6 months, you should apply for something called a re-entry permit. The form number is I-131. You can find it on the USCIS website. USCIS stands for United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. Their website is USCIS.gov. This is the government website, so it ends in .gov. Here is the most important thing about the re-entry permit. You must apply for it while you're still in the United States. You cannot apply for it after you have already left. So plan ahead once you have a re-entry permit. It protects your ability to come back as a permanent resident, even if you are outside the US for up to 2 years. Think of it as a safety document that shows the government you still intend to live in America. Applying for Form I-0131 is done online through the USCIS website. When you go to USCIS.gov and search for I-131, you will see the form page. It has a blue button that says File Online. You create an account, fill in your personal information, explain your reason for traveling, and pay the filing fee as of now. The fee is around $500 to $600. After you apply, USCIS will ask you to come in for a biometrics appointment. That is just where they take your fingerprints and photograph. Then you wait for your permit to arrive in the mail. The whole process can take several months. So start early. Listen, things are changing fast right now. Hit subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you do not miss my next update. I'm going to be covering more green card travel stories as they come out now. Let me tell you about a brand new rule that also affects you. At the border, every non-US citizen now has to go through facial recognition technology when entering and leaving the United States. This includes green card holders. It includes visa holders. It includes everyone who is not a US citizen. Here is what that looks like at the airport. When you approach the customs booth, there is a camera. You look at it. It scans your face and matches it to your passport or green card photo. The whole thing takes a few seconds. Most people do not even notice it happening. But this is new, and it means CBP now has biometric records on every single entry and exit you make. This is important because if there are any questions about how long you have been outside the US, the government now has digital records of exactly when you left and when you came back. Now let me talk about what to carry with you when you travel. This is practical advice that can make a real difference. At the border, think of your documents as your story. They tell the officer that you live in the US, that you pay taxes here, that your life is here. So here is what you should put together before any international trip. Carry your green card. That sounds obvious, but make sure it is valid and not expired. Carry your most recent US tax return. This shows you file taxes in the US. Carry a recent pay stub if you work in the US. Carry a recent utility bill, bank statement, or lease agreement showing your US address. If you own property in the US, carry a document showing that if you have children in school in the US, a school enrollment letter helps. Think of it as building a case that your real life is in the United States, even if you traveled abroad. Now here is something many people do not realize. The ban is also affecting people who are still waiting for their green card to be processed. As of January 21st of 2026, the US State Department paused new green card processing for applicants from 75 countries. This is separate from the travel ban. This affects people who applied for a green card but have not received it yet. If you are in that situation, the process is frozen right now, and there is no clear timeline for when it will restart. That is a very hard situation, and I want to acknowledge how stressful that is for families waiting to reunite. So let me bring this all together for you right now. With 3 key takeaways, I want you to remember these. Number 1, if you already have a green card, the official travel ban does not automatically block you from coming back to the United States. Green card holders are listed as exempt in the proclamation, but the border environment is stricter. Questions are more intense, and you need to be prepared. Number 2, the 6-month and 1-year absence rules are your biggest real risks. If you have been outside the US for more than 6 months, be ready to explain your situation and show documents proving your ties to America. If you plan to be gone longer than 6 months, apply for Form I-131, the re-entry permit, before you leave. Do it at USCIS.gov while you're still in the United States. Number 3, know your rights at the border. CBP officers cannot take your green card. Only an immigration judge can do that. If you are detained or questioned at the airport, stay calm. Be honest. But do not sign Form I-407 without speaking to a lawyer. If you feel pressured, clearly ask to see an immigration judge. I know this is a lot. I know it feels like every week there's something new to worry about. And I want to say this directly to you. You worked hard for your green card. You built a life in the United States. You deserve clear information so you can protect what you earned. And that is exactly why I make these videos. If this helped you today, please share this video with every green card holder you know. Send it to a family member who is traveling. Post it in your community group. This information could help someone avoid a very serious mistake at the border. And if you are not subscribed yet, please do it right now. I am constantly watching for new policy changes, new court decisions, and new updates that affect you. You do not want to miss what is coming. In my next video, I'm going to cover something a lot of you have been asking about. What happens to people who are on a green card and they get sent to secondary inspection and they are told their case needs to go to an immigration judge? What does that process actually look like? What are your rights? What are the chances of keeping your green card? I'm going to walk you through the whole thing, step by step. You do not want to miss that one. Thank you for watching. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.